My health started to go downhill. I started to have the dreams and they became more intense.
It wasn't any dream. This was a recurring nightmare that Dave had as a child. Now it was haunting him as an adult.
I'm not one who scares easy. It made me fear for my life.
Story 24, take 1, marker.
It was March of 1992, and my husband and I purchased our first home. We were excited to be starting out on our own.
It was just a real nice place to have our kids grow up and raise kids and everything.
My friends kept teasing, saying, new house, new baby. We said no, and lo and behold, son number 3 came along. Dave's health was pretty good when we moved in. I would say about a year or two after, it just went from marginal to really bad.
Dave had struggled with asthma most of his life, but after the couple's third son was born, Dave's health deteriorated fast.
And consequently, I was put on the list for a lung transplant, and I thought I was going to die.
But Dave's illness was not the only thing the family had to worry about. Their new home was holding secrets of its own.
My health started to go downhill. I started to have the dreams and they became more intense.
It wasn't any dream. This was a recurring nightmare that Dave had as a child. Now it was haunting him as an adult.
I'm not one who scares easy. It made me fear for my life. And it came through the door. It has an odor that's horrible, that's beyond belief. And its breath would just make you want to choke and vomit. The skin was all distorted like it was in a fire. It had pressed me down in the bed and tried to strangle me.
I woke up really quick. I had to stop it. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I knew what I was seeing. He was yelling in his sleep. He was fighting in his sleep.
The demon was coming through from Dave's dreams into his reality. Their home was not a safe place anymore.
He was pressed into the bed. It looked like a body had laid on top of him and it just weighted him down into the bed. Get up! After that night, we both knew that something sinister was attacking him.
The family tried to live a normal home life, but they couldn't escape their unwanted visitor.
Then I started seeing things that made it crystal clear to me that there was something going on that was more than nightmares. Oh my God. I kind of felt like a snake. That was terror.
I have no idea how that's possible, but it happened. And if it was going to happen to somebody, I didn't want it to happen to my wife, and I didn't want it to happen to my children.
Dave got angry, and he decided he wasn't going to let this thing have power over him anymore, and he was going to fight it. When he went to sleep that night, I knew what was starting to happen.
Cindy heard her husband fighting upstairs. Dave had come face to face with his demon, and he wasn't backing down. He wanted his home back.
The thing on the other side of the door tended to do me harm. This thing had grabbed me.
So I go running up the steps.
Oh my God!
And I actually saw him go from being flat on our bed, and then he was airborne.
I'm dreaming all this. This shouldn't materialize into reality. I should wake up and I shouldn't have anything on me. It's a dream. Well, it wasn't.
Later that night, Dave woke with pain searing through his upper body.
I was bleeding like a stuck pig and everywhere.
He had multiple scratches all over, and they were in threes. What did that to him?
Now there was physical evidence of a demonic presence in their home, and Cindy was terrified. But Dave fighting back had an unexpected result.
And it stopped. It stopped. There were no more physical attacks. The nightmare stopped.
When that person fights and wants to get out of there and wants to get rid of that and has that intention of getting out of that situation, that's when the spirit loses its power.
Dave's health, he seemed to stabilize.
I don't want to say that I won because I don't think there's such a thing as winning. I survived. But it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of another chapter that was not a good one.
The Malone family had successfully rid their home of an evil entity and were finally living a normal life.
But it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of another chapter that was not a good one.
In September of 2012, our middle son, Zach, passed away.
Zach died tragically in their home at the age of 21.
I always firmly believed that it was just merely an accident, that he was doing something that he shouldn't have done. But there was always a question out there, was he that unhappy that he would have taken his life?
While dealing with the loss of Zach, the entity that had lain dormant returned to the house, or so it seemed.
Dave came downstairs. He's always been the first one to get up. He starts the coffee. He walked into the kitchen.
All the doors were open. I mean, everything. The refrigerator, the oven, the broiler.
And obviously that's not a normal thing to walk into.
And it was almost like, come on, this can't be happening.
We think something, like our minds are starting to play tricks on us or something.
I was in the kitchen getting a bowl of cereal, and I went to the one cabinet on the left side of me, and I couldn't find a bowl big enough, so I went to a cabinet directly above me. I said, I don't know, I'm starting to go nuts here because this can't be happening. Oh, the breaking point for me was we came down one morning and all our dining room chairs were stacked on top of the table. Whether these things were connected to the entity from my past, I don't know.
There was something very sinister going on.
You know, even for a normal person, stacking them up like that took some effort. So if whatever this is has the power to do that, then what's it capable of?
I did some research and it led me to a group that was called Light Seekers Paranormal Resolutions.
They call us and we come in and try to help the family get their lives back to normal, move spirits on, cross human spirits over, and whatever we really need to do to give the family peace and quiet again in their home. Steve is one of my psychic mediums. Steve can see and talk to spirits. We knew right off the bat that something was definitely amiss here. We felt this deep desire to go over to this motorcycle.
My son Zachary's motorcycle, it's a Harley. It was his joy.
They didn't have any prior information as to as far as they knew, that could have been my motorcycle.
He was attracted to it. He wasn't sure exactly why at the time, but he said that once he got over to it, he said he had this feeling and emotions coming through him.
He kind of opened himself up to where Zachary kind of came to him. And that's when apparently Zachary had said to him to apologize to us about, him doing what he did to leave us.
Steve sensed that Zach's spirit had locked on to his beloved motorbike to keep him attached to the family's home.
He started speaking, and the words that came out of his mouth were not his anymore. The words that came out of his mouth were Zach's.
Part of me was relieved in the fact that, I knew all along that he didn't try to harm himself on purpose.
And the only reason that we weren't harmed any more than we already had been was because Zach was the protector of his friends and his family.
According to the psychic, the attacks on Dave had stopped because his dead son's spirit was protecting him and his family's home.
Didn't want him to have to go through that. I wanted that bad thing and the evil thing to leave so he could be in peace,
He will comfort all your waste places, and he will make your wilderness like Eden, and your desert like the garden of the Lord.
And that's when we decided it's time to remove this thing, time to get it out of here.
Hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation. Ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock, whence we are here.
The evil spirit that was here was gone.
After this entity has left, we had a cold blast of air come through.
It was a very touching moment, and one that you could physically feel, not just emotionally.
When a spirit leaves the room, there'll be a sudden calmness. It's almost like there's no noise in the room. It's just deafening quiet.
And I felt a kiss on my cheek. And that was him. That was the most powerful thing I'd ever felt in my life. I mean, I know my son's with me. He'll always be with me. But to know that even on the other side, that he's still got us. I'm good.
Haven't had a thing happen to nothing. He only knocks on the door, or, kids from the neighborhood knocking on the door, and that's it. That's the way we want to keep it.
This is just a reminder to subscribe to enjoy our growing collection of paranormal content. Don't forget to like your favorite episode and ring the bell to be notified of new content. As always, thanks for watching.